Yeah, ready, sir.
Start the class now.
Okay, sir. Good morning, students. Welcome back to another session. This is Vani from DSRJC Wyra. So now let us discuss today's topic, Gynoecium. Carpels are formed gynoecium in angiosperms, but gymnosperms carpels are open. The female reproductive whorl made up of carpels is also called megasporophyll. Gynoecium. Gynoecium is a female reproductive part of the flower and it is made up of one or more carpels. These carpels consist of three parts, namely stigma, style, and ovary. So each ovary, then in the one carpel is present, they may be free. This condition is known as apocarpus. When carpels are fused, this condition is known as syncarpus. Apocarpus example, lotus and rose. And syncarpus example, mustard. Scientific name Brassica nigrum. And there one example, tomato. Okay. After fertilization, the ovule develop into seeds and ovary mature into fruit. See here, this gynoecium develops from one or more carpels. So these carpels are gynoecium develops in one carpel. This is known as monocarpellary. Example, Pia fabaceous family. Maybe the gynoecium develops into two carpels. These are known as bicarpellary. Example, Datura. The gynoecium develops three carpels. This is known as tricarpellary. Example, Cucurbita. Maybe the gynoecium develops four carpels. This is known as tetracarpellary. Example, Enothera. What is that? Example, Enothera. Maybe the gynoecium develops five carpels. This is known as pentacarpellary. Example, hibiscus. The scientific name hibiscus rosa sinensis. More than five carpels are called multicarpellary. Example, citrus. The gynoecium develops from maybe five carpels, more than five carpels. That is known as multicarpellary. Example, citrus. Okay, this is female reproductive organ or essential organ. See here, this is pistil, female reproductive organ. The carpel consists of three parts. First one stigma, second one style, third one ovary. See this? This is stigma. Stigma, it is located on terminal part of the carpel. This stigma may be rough and sticky in nature. This is stigma site of pollination. The stigma received pollen grains for pollination. Second one part of style. This style is narrow and elongated thread-like structure. It is connecting to the ovary and with the stigma. This is style. And another one, ovary. This ovary is basal swollen part having the chamber is called locule. Generally, number of locule equal to the carpel. First one, unilocular. That means monocarpellary. Example, pia. Maybe bilocular, that is bicarpellary. Example, mustard. Bilocular. And trilocular. Example, asparagus. This is trilocular. And tetralocular, that is tetracarpellary. 2, 3, 4. 4 locules are there. Example, osmum. Osmum santum. And pentalocular. Example, China rose. That means pentacarpellary. Each locule contains ovules. A fertile tissue is called placenta. Placenta. Okay, students, this is female reproductive organ. 3 parts are there: stigma, style, and ovary. We will go with next slide. See, this is placentation. These inside ovary present in ovules. These placentation with help of ovules attached to the ovary. So these placentation different types are there. First one marginal, second one axial, third one parietal placentation, fourth one free central, fifth one basal. So now let us discuss first one, marginal placentation. See here, this is marginal placentation. The ovules are born fused margin of unilocular ovary. Example, pia. Second one, placentation, axial placentation. These axial placentation, the ovules are produced a central axis of multilocular ovary. Example, China rose. And third one, placentation, parietal placentation. See here, this is parietal placentation. The ovules are born inner wall of unilocular ovary of multicarpellary syncarpous gynoecium. Example, cucumber. And fourth one, placentation, free central placentation. See here, this is free central placentation. The ovules are born central axis. They may be septa or absent. Example, primose. And last one, placentation, basal placentation. These basal placentation, single ovule is born at the base of unilocular ovary. Example, sunflower. These are different types of placentation. Total 5 placentations are there: marginal placentation, axial placentation, parietal placentation, free central, and basal. Next, fruits. This is part of the plant, fruits. Generally, flowers become fruits. The fruit is characteristic features of the flowering plants. It is a matured, ripened ovary developed after fertilization. First one, parthenocarpic fruit. You know, parthenogenesis, already we have learned in 10th class, parthenogenesis. The fruit is formed without fertilization of the ovary. It is called parthenocarpic fruit. Example, banana, watermelon, orange. Next, pericarp. Generally, fruit it is consist of walls of pericarp and seeds. These pericarp may be fleshy or dry. When pericarp is thick and fleshy, it is differentiated into the outer layer, middle layer, and inner layer. The outer layer is called epicarp or exocarp. The middle part is called mesocarp and inner layer is called endocarp. Next, false fruits. However, in few plants such as example apple, cashew or strawberry, the thalamus of the pedicel also contribute to the fruit formation. This is known as false fruits. And next one, true fruits. Most of the fruits, however, develop only from the ovary is called true fruits. Example, grape. And next, fleshy fruits and dry fruits. Fleshy fruits will have pericarp divisible into epicarp, mesocarp and endocarp. But dry fruits have indivisible pericarp. Pericarp in nature, one of the characters used to identify the fleshy fruits. Into the 5 subtypes are there, such as berry type, drupe type, hesperidium, pome and pepo. These are dry fruits. In mango and coconut, the fruit is also known as drupe type. This is one of the part of the plant fruit. Topic is related in this year. Okay, students, next we will go with slide. That is one of the part of the plant, that is seed. This is important one. The ovules after fertilization develop into seed. These seeds made up of seed pod and embryo. See here, this is seed pod and it is made up of the embryo. The embryo is made up of embryonal axis and 1 or 2 cotyledons. This is seed. In this seed part of detail we have discussed in another unit, that is sexual reproduction in flowering plants. We will go with next slide. See here. So now let us discuss third unit, that is reproduction in plants. In this unit included 2 chapters, that is 6th chapter modes of reproduction and 7th chapter sexual reproduction in flowering plants. This reproduction in plants mainly with help of into the flower, that is male reproductive organ and female reproductive organ. So Panchanan Maheshwari. Do you know Panchanan Maheshwari in period of 9 November 1904 in 18 May 1966. In Panchanan Maheshwari was prominent Indian botanist. He is noted chiefly for invention of technique of test tube fertilization of angiosperms. This invention has allowed to creation of new hybrid plants that could not previously to be crossbreed naturally. So now let us discuss 6th chapter modes of reproduction. So do you know what is reproduction? Reproduction, it is a biological process in which organisms gives rise to young ones. That means offsprings. These offsprings similar to itself. The offsprings grow and mature and in turn produce a new offsprings. In the cycle of birth, growth and death. This reproduction enables to continuity of the species generations to after generation. These reproduction in types of these types are vegetative reproduction, asexual reproduction, third one sexual reproduction. We'll go with next slide. Reproduction. Reproduction of new individual from their parents. Parents to progeny. The vegetative parts of the plant, that is root, stem and leaf. This is vegetative reproduction with help of the parts root, stem and leaves. The reproductive part of the plant are flowers. In plants, there are 2 main types of reproduction. These types are first one asexual reproduction, second one sexual reproduction. In sexual reproduction, in a sexual reproduction, new plants to produce without help of seeds. But sexual reproduction, new plants are produced with help of from the seeds. This is sexual reproduction and asexual reproduction. So now let us discuss asexual reproduction. In plants, there are different types of asexual reproduction. They are vegetative propagation, binary fusion, budding, fragmentation, and spore formation. So now let us discuss first one, vegetative propagation. In this method, new plants are produced from the vegetative parts like root, stem, or leaves. See the examples of vegetative propagation. See here, these are examples of vegetative propagation. So first one example, rose and money plant. If the stem is cutting of a rose plant or money plant is planted into the soil, we can get a new plant. Another one example, potato, scientific name Solanum tuberosum. The potato has a small buds. See here, these are buds. These buds are called eyes. If the pot of potato with an eyes is cut and planted into the soil, we can get a new plant. Another one example, see here, ginger. If a part of ginger is planted in the soil, we can get a new plant. Ginger, scientific name Gingiber officinalis. Another one, bryophyllum. With help of into the leaf part. Bryophyllum has buds in the leaf. If a part of the leaf in the bud is planted in the soil, we can get a new plant. Another one example of vegetative propagation, that is cactus. See here, this is cactus. If the part of cactus plant is planted in the soil, so we can get a new plant. These are examples of vegetative propagation. Next, asexual reproduction in one of the method, that is binary fusion. So in this binary fusion example, euglena and bacteria. In protists and moniras, the organism, the parent cell divide into two to give rise a new individuals. See here, this is parent cell, and that is euglena or bacteria. Example, this parent organism, these parent organism divide into two gives rise to new individuals. In these organisms, cell division is itself to mode of reproduction. Many single-celled organisms reproduced by the binary fusion, whereas the cell divide into two halves, each rapidly to grows into an adult. Example, euglena and bacteria. This is one of the asexual reproduction method, binary fusion. Next one, budding. In this method, small projections is called bud. See here, this is example budding yeast. This is the yeast cell. In this yeast cell, to produce a small projection like structure, this is called bud. What is formed on the yeast cell? These buds grows and become a new yeast cell. The new yeast cells also grow, produce more yeast cells. See here, this is yeast cell. To produce the bud, These buds also grows, become a new yeast cells. New yeast cells also grow, produce more yeast cells. This is also a sexual reproduction in method. And third one, fragmentation. Example, Spirogyra. See here, this is Spirogyra. These Spirogyra may be split into the one or more fragments. Each fragments also arise into the new plant. This is Spirogyra fragment. These Spirogyra plant breaks into the two or more fragments. Each fragments grow into the new plant. This is a sexual method of fragmentation. Next one, asexual spore formation. Example, fungus, fern, rhizophus. This is also method fungus to produce the spores. These spores are germinate, produce into the new plants. Next, this is mainly important, sexual reproduction. The sexual reproduction involves formation of male and female gametes either by the same individuals by different individuals of the opposite sex. The gametes fuse to formation of zygote which develops from a new organism. In this sexual reproduction, male and female with participation of into the different individuals of the opposite sex. These male to form the gamete, female also to produce the gamete. These are haploid in condition. These both gametes are fused, so to form the zygote, that is equal to 2n condition, that is diploid zygote formation of the organism. So here, this sexual reproduction process is complex, elaborate, slow process is compared to the asexual reproduction. Because of the fusion of male and female gametes, sexual reproduction results of the offsprings not identical to the parent among themselves. Next, vegetative phase. What is vegetative phase? All organisms have to reach certain stage of growth and maturity in their life before they can produce sexually. This stage is known as vegetative phase. Next, this phase variable to duration in different organisms. The end of phase is juvenile phase or vegetative phase, which marks to beginning of the reproductive phase. Juvenile phase and reproductive phase is IP point of view 2 marks weightage. Juvenile phase and reproductive phase. Next, in this sexual reproduction, mainly they are participating into the flower, that is male reproductive organ and female reproductive organ. Already I told that what is male reproductive organ and female reproductive organ. The male reproductive organ, that is stamen. The stamen, it consists of into the filament and anther. The female reproductive organ, pistil, it is consist of into the three parts, style, stigma and ovary. The flowers which have only stamen are only in pistil are called unisexual flowers. Example, maize, papaya, cucumber. The flowers which have both stamen and pistil are called bisexual flowers. Example, rose, mustard, hibiscus. Okay, next. The stamens which has into the filament and anther, it consists of pollen grains which contain the male gametophyte. The female gamete or egg, it is a pistil. The ovary consists of ovules. In sexual reproduction, the male and female gamete fuse together to form the zygote. Okay. Next, events in sexual reproduction. The fusion of male and female gametes, the formation of zygote and embryogenesis. Male gamete and female gamete. These gametes to formation of the zygote. This zygote develops from embryo. It is embryogenesis. First one stage, pre-fertilization events. That means before fertilization. Next, fertilization events. And third one, post-fertilization events. That means after fertilization process. So now let us discuss first one stage, pre-fertilization events. So in this pre-fertilization events, two stages. First one gametogenesis, second one gamete transfer. See here, this is gametogenesis. In this process to formation of the two types of gametes, male and female gametes. Example, cladophora. See here, this male and female gametes. These are haploid cells. In some of the algae, two gametes are similar. See here, these are two gametes. It cannot possible to categorize them into the male and female gametes because there is no differentiate between the male and female gametes. So these gametes are called homogametes and isogametes. Example, cladophora. Next, in majority of sexual reproductive organisms, in gametes are produced two morphologically distinct types. These are heterogametes. Hetero means different. Different gametes are there in sexual reproduction. Example, funaria and cycles. See here, this is funaria, this is gametophytic phase, and this is sporophytic. This is cycles example, male and female. Male gamete is called anthrorhizid or sperm. The female gamete is egg. And next, in plants may have both and female, male and reproductive structures in the same plant, bisexual. Already I told that bisexual flower, the male and female reproductive structures are present in a same plant, that is bisexual. A different plant is unisexual flower. See here, homothallic, heterothallic, monoecious and dioecious. Monoecious means single, mono, dioecious means two. Hetero means different, homo means similar. See here example, this monoecious, example, Kara. So in this Kara plant, in have to the antheridium and oogonium. That means male sex organ and female sex organ are present into the Kara plant. This is monoecious condition. Next, dioecious plant, example, Markensia. See here, this is female plant and this is male plant. There is no differentiate. It is dioecious plant. Next, another one example, monoecious maize. See here, this is maize plant. The male and female reproductive organs have to the plant. Next, dioecious plant, example, papaya. See here, this is female plant. This is male plant. This is dioecious condition. In several organisms belongs to Monera, fungi, algae and bryophytes have to the haploid plant body and condition. Organisms belong to pteridophytes, gymnosperms, angiosperms, plant body as diploid. In diploid organisms, special cells are called meiocytes. These are gamete mother cell undergoes the meiosis process. Next one, Pre-fertilization event, that is first one gametogenesis, second one gamete transfer. In majority of organisms, male gamete is motile and female gamete is stationary. That means the male gametes, antheroizoids, it have to the flagellus are there. So these flagellus is the motile in nature. Few fungi and algae, both types of gametes are motile. But in seeded plants, pollen grains carries two male gametes and ovules has egg. The anthers has produced in anthers. They have to be transferred stigma before can lead to fertilization. What is pollination? Transfer of the pollen grains from the anther to stigma of a flower is called pollination. Pollination is two types. Pollination is two types. These two types are self-pollination and cross-pollination. See here, this is male sex organ, anther. This is female sex organ, carpel, style, stigma. The pollen grains are transferred by wind or water or insects. In pollen grains lands stigma of the same flower. These are the anther, male sex organ. These pollen grains transfer to the female flower of the stigma. This is self-pollination. Maybe the pollen grains, this male anther, the pollen grains transfer to the another flower of stigma. This is known as cross-pollination. We will go with next slide. See here, this is self-pollination. Example, Pia. See here, this is male sex organ, that is anthers. This is female sex organ, carpel. These pollen grains transfer to the stigma on same flower. That process is self-pollination. Then two flowers are there. See here, these pollen grains transfer to the another flower of stigma. This is known as cross-pollination. See here, this is algae gametes, contactive motile gametes. See here, these are flagellas, contactive motile gametes. See here, fusion of gamete to form the zygote. Next, fertilization. In most of vital events, sexual reproduction is perhaps to the fusion of gametes. This condition is known as syngamy. In formation of diploid zygote. What is parthenogenesis? Already I told that without fertilization. Some of the fruits produced from flower without fertilization develop on the embryo from the unfertilized female gametophyte, that is known as parthenogenesis. Fertilization is two types. What are they? External fertilization and internal fertilization. In most of aquatic organisms such as majority of algae, syngamy occurs in external medium. This medium is water, that is outside of the body of organism. This type of gamete fusion is called external fertilization. In majority of plants, these plants example bryophytes or pteridophytes or gymnosperms or angiosperms. The syngamy occurs inside of the body of the organism. This process is known as internal fertilization. Fertilization is two types, external fertilization and internal fertilization. Next, so now completed to the two stages. First one, pre-fertilization events. Second one, fertilization. So now let us discuss third one stage, that is post-fertilization events. What is post-fertilization events? Events in sexual reproduction after formation of zygote are called post-fertilization events. How to form the zygote? Male and female flowers to form the gametes. Both gametes are fused to form the zygote, diploid zygote. The formation of diploid zygote universally in all sexual reproducing organisms. With external fertilization, zygote is formed to external medium, usually water. Next, internal fertilization. Zygote is formed inside the body of organism. Every sexual reproducing organism begins to the life single cell, that is zygote. We'll go with next slide. Embryogenesis. Embryogenesis. The zygote is developed from the embryo. In this process, development of embryo from the zygote. During the embryogenesis, zygote is undergoes cell division, that is mitosis, and cell differentiation. Cell division increase the number of cells in developing embryo. Do you know cell division? Mitosis and meiosis. Already we have learned in 10th class what is mitosis and what is meiosis. Cell differentiation helps to group of cells undergo certain modification from specialized tissue organ from the organism. In flowering plants, the zygote is formed inside the ovule. After fertilization, the sepals, petals, stamens fall off. In some of the plants, such as example mangroves, the seed germinate while still attached to the mother plant. This condition is known as vivipary. What is that? Vivipary. Seed germinate while still attached to the mother plant. This is important for 2 marks. What is vivipary? Next, we will discuss important one, life cycle of angiosperms. Unlike the angiosperms where the ovules are naked, the gymnosperms are the flowering plants. The pollen grains and ovules develop in specialized structures are called flowers. See here, this is life cycle of angiosperm. See here, this is sporophyte plant. Plants have multicellular diploid sporophytic stage, as this is dominant phase in their life cycle. Gametophytic stage, it is reduced to the totally depend on the sporophyte. In this sporophyte plant, different parts are there. So mainly important part is flower. In this flower, it have to the male sex organ and female sex organs. See here, this is male sex organ. In this anthers following meiosis produce the pollen grains. This is female sex organ. It carpel consists of 3 parts: stigma, style, ovary. Ovary enclosing of many ovules. Within ovule present into the highly reduced female gametophyte. That is called embryo sac. Each embryo sac is formation presented by the meiosis. Each the cell embryo sac is haploid condition. Okay, students. See here. This is male sex organ, that is microsporangium. In this meiosis process, to carry on to the female sex organ microsporangium to produce the microspores. These are microspores are haploid in condition. These microspores reduced onto the pollen grains. This is gametophytic generation. In female sex organ, that is megaspore, mother cell, that is megasporangium. This sporophytic condition, diploid zygote to form it. So here this is megaspore, mother cell, that is egg cell. Form the embryo sac. These two male gametes, the pollen grains are discharged onto the two male gametes. See here, the pollen grains discharged onto the two male gametes. One male gamete, it is fused with the two diploid polar nucleus. In embryo sac present to the one egg cell, two synergid cells and two polar nuclear cells, three antipodal cells. One male gamete, it is fused with the diploid nucleus. And another one male gamete, it is fused with the egg cell. Double fertilization is occurs. After fertilization, to form the diploid zygote. These zygote develop from the embryo. These embryo develop from the sporophytic plant. In this embryo, to form the triploid primary endosperm nucleus. One male gamete, it is fused with the diploid secondary nucleus. This nucleus to form the TEN, that is triploid primary endosperm nucleus. This primary endosperm nucleus which provides nourishment to the development of embryo. Ovules develop into the seeds. Ovaries develop into the fruits. Okay, students? Plant have multicellular diploid sporophytes at the dominant phase in their life cycle. Gametophytic stage. This is gametophytic stage. This is highly reduced, complete, totally dependent on to the sporophytic stage. This is life cycle of angiosperm. So here, this is fertilization gives rise to multicellular and a diploid sporophyte which produced haploid spores via meiosis and fused cell gametophytes. This type of life cycle is called diplohaplantic life cycle. So what is mitosis and meiosis? So mitosis, in process where a single cell divides into two identical cells in their cell division, replication. So here this is single cell. These single cells divide into two identical daughter cells. This is mitosis process. Next, what is meiosis process? In this meiosis process, where a single cell divides twice. Replication is occurs. These single cells divides into twice to produce four cells containing half of the original amount of the genetic information. Okay, meiosis. In this process, where a single cells divides into twice to produce a four cells. This is meiosis process. And thus to produce into the processed by the meiosis process. Next, this is embryo sac. See here, this embryo sac is micropilar end, this is chalazar end. In this embryo sac is haploid in condition. In this embryo sac, two synergid cells are there, one egg cell, two polar nuclear cells are there, three antipodal cells are there. Okay, what is the function of embryo sac? This is female gametophyte of the seeded plant. It is consist of a thin walled sac within the nucleus that contains a egg nucleus and the other nuclei, which gives rise to endosperm on fertilization. What is the role of synergids? These synergid cells directly pollen tube enter to growth. What's a female gametophyte? To facilitate the entrance of the pollen tube in embryo sac. Okay. Next, antipodals. What is the function of antipodals? These antipodal cells are rich in DNA and RNA, total proteins and histones. Antipodals helps in a nutrition of the endosperm. This is embryo sac. Okay, students, I hope that all are understood. This is yesterday assignment 3, differentiate into the actinomorphic and zygomorphic flower. Next, second question, what is meant by epipetalous condition? Give an example. Third question, differentiate between epicarpus and syncarpus. Epicarpus means the carpels may be free. It is epicarpus and syncarpus. Define placentation. What type of placentations is found in dianthus? Placentations are 5 placentations are there. Marginal placentation, axial placentation, free central placentation, and basal placentation. And fifth one question, describe arrangement of floral members in relation their insertion of thalamus. And sixth question, describe any 4 types of placentation found in flowering plants. This is IP point of view, 4 marks weightage. Next, today assignment, fourth, what is dominant phase in life cycle of angiosperms? 2 marks weightage question. Next, which is the following monoecious and dioecious organisms? Date palm, coconut, kara, and markensia. This is also 2 marks question. Third, define vivipary with an example. Example, mangroves. This is also 2 marks question. Define juvenile phase and reproductive phase. This is also important for 2 marks weightage in IP point of view. And fifth one, give brief account phases of the life cycle of angiosperm. This is also important for weightage in IP. Thank you. Hello? Hello? Sir, class is over. Hello? Sir? Hello? Sir?
Madam, completed, madam?
Completed, sir.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.